The newest pickleball paddle from Chorus Pickleball is here, and in this video, I'm going to dive deep into how this paddle plays and whether or not it's worth considering as your next paddle. So let's talk about the brand new Chorus Supercourt. So the new Supercourt series is the latest from Chorus, who has really come onto the scene strong with some great offerings over the last handful of months. And if you aren't looking for an in-depth review, no worries, I've got you. The Supercourt X series is the most recent all-court lineup from Chorus Pickleball and builds off of the original Supercourt. It offers a unique retro colorway that I find very appealing, but more importantly, it offers users a very balanced paddle with a plush feel that still combines with plenty of pop and power when you need it. It introduces the new Chorus Pickleball shapes to the Supercourt series to meet the needs of any playstyle and is very competitively priced at just $108 if you use the code PickleballBlast at checkout. And if you're here for a deeper look at this paddle and what makes it unique, then let's dive in. I'm sharing the basic stats for these paddles on screen, so feel free to pause and look those over if you'd like. You can get the Supercourt in 3 shapes, the elongated EX, the hybrid HX, and the standard SX. And the layup of materials with the Supercourt plays a big role in giving it its unique feel and performance, combining 2 layers of distinctly soft carbon fiber with a layer of fiberglass in between. This comes along with a slightly lower static weight, giving you room to customize, and solid swing weight and twist weight numbers across the board. I've compared this new Supercourt series to a variety of other similar paddles, and I'll get into those towards the end of this video, but let's first talk about how it compares to the entire lineup of Chorus Pickleball paddles. Most recently, Chorus has released the Fire and the Shapeshifter X series, which were both pretty successful. The Fire series being their power-focused lineup, and the Shapeshifter, in my opinion, being a control paddle, or at least an all-court leaning control. And the Supercourt fits right in between these two. The power will not eclipse the Fire, and while the feel in many scenarios feels pretty similar to the Shapeshifter, it definitely beats that paddle in pop and power. In fact, if you watched my initial impressions hitting video, which I'll link up above, I remember saying that the Supercourt is kind of like what I expected the Shapeshifter to be, so I'm a pretty big fan. The feel of this paddle is its most unique feature in my opinion, as it feels incredibly soft and plush, especially with resets and the slow game, but becomes quite poppy when you unlock that fiberglass layer and seems to stiffen up on bigger swings. This is mainly due to the face layup with the softer carbon fiber layer that lets you absorb shots coming at you and give you that softer feel, and then the fiberglass layer that stiffens up on bigger swings and flicks, giving you a punchy answer in hand battles. I ended up being a pretty big fan of this feel, as I do really enjoy a soft plush paddle at the net and while defending drives, but as someone who generally likes a poppy, aggressive paddle and plays more aggressively, that is usually missing in a lot of softer paddle designs. The power I can best describe as standard. It doesn't really stand out to me in either direction. There is enough power when I need it for drives and putaways. It wasn't lacking in any way, but it's also not the standout feature of this paddle, if that makes sense. Pop is another category that this paddle really excels in, and it definitely caught me off guard. I knew there was a fiberglass layer in the makeup of this paddle, but starting out warming up at the net, you feel that very plush feel to the paddle where the fiberglass isn't yet activated. And then I started to unlock that pop with some other swings and shots, and I found this to be a solidly poppy paddle. In fact, I compared this to some Paddleteks alongside Matt's Pickleball, and while we could definitely feel the difference in pop, the gap was much smaller than what we anticipated. The soft feel of this paddle was beneficial to the control game with resets, dinks, and drops, and the spin was great, as are most paddles being released these days, and I would attribute that to mainly the pocketing of the ball that you feel with the Supercourt. Additionally, the design of the paddle is super unique with that throwback look, and it's going to release with 2 colorways, the brown setup that you see here, and their Tron colorway that will feature a retro blue color. Now, comparing pickleball paddles is always a big part of determining where a paddle falls in the current landscape. And while you can watch the full long-form first impression video that I'll link again, I want to boil it down for you as well. Matt and I hit these new Supercourt paddles side by side with the 2 Paddleteks, the Bread and Butter Invader and the Joola 3S. Compared to the Paddleteks, which were the ALWC and the Bantam, again, I found the Supercourt to have less pop, but it was much closer than I anticipated. Less power as well, but it was significantly more forgiving and had a much bigger sweet spot, and the feel of the face felt softer. Compared to the Joola 3S, the Supercourt won for me in pop, and definitely had more plush of a feel. The Joola 3S won for power here, which is to be expected, and despite having more pop, I actually preferred the Supercourt in the control game, as that pop didn't materialize as much until you hit that fiberglass layer. But perhaps an overarching thing to keep in mind in these paddle comparisons that we did is price point. We love the Paddleteks and the Joola 3S and the Invader, and they are all excellent paddles, like hands down, that's just a fact. But at $108 after code to get a paddle that can perform at a high level and can excel in certain categories, giving you a unique way to complement your play style, I think is a huge win. Like the Joola 3S is a great paddle, but you could buy 3 Supercourts for the price of 1 Joola. And also, not everybody wants to spend that kind of money. So if you're looking for a forgiving paddle that can unlock some pop to lean a little more aggressive in play style, or you're just looking for a recent solid paddle that won't break the bank, I think this paddle is worth picking up. On the flip side, if you're really happy with your current paddle, I don't know that I would say the Supercourt offers some incredibly unique approach, like some big new feature or anything, so maybe hold off in that scenario, but again, at just $100 or a little bit more, it's not really a huge risk. If you have any questions about this paddle, let me know down below in the comments. Please leave a like and subscribe, guys. I will see you in the next video.